In a previous episode, I cut off the bulb of the butternut squash and made butternut squash macaroni and cheese. Now I'm going to take the stalk part of it and make butternut squash fries. So I'm going to cut it in half. And half again. Half again. Then we're just going to cut fry-like shapes. So cut to pieces like this, and then cut again until you have what look like fries. So people ask us all the time how it is that my husband stays so skinny when I bake all the time. And my answer to you is because we have balance most of the time. So instead of French fries with potatoes, I make butternut squash fries. So he gets, it's a little healthier version. And we do a lot of different things like that. We don't eat a lot of red meat. We eat mostly ground turkey and chicken because we like chocolate. So I'm just going to keep cutting up the squash until I get it all cut into fry-like shapes. Alright, so I've got about half in this bowl. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to drizzle some olive oil over the top. It's about 3 tablespoons. And I'm going to make sure it gets around all of them. And then I have a half a teaspoon of white pepper and a half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to pour over the top. You want to make sure that you get the seasoning incorporated all over every fry. So you don't have one fry that has a chunk of white pepper on it and another one that has a chunk of salt. So thoroughly mix. And then we're going to put in a single layer on our baking sheet. And you want to give them a little bit of space between to breathe. This is why I only did half at a time, because I'm going to do the other half on another baking sheet. There's not really enough space to do the whole stalk on one sheet unless you don't want them to cook. So once I get these all arranged, we're going to bake these in a 450-degree oven for 15 minutes. Then we're going to pull it out, flip them all over, and let the other side cook for another 15 minutes. So it's a total of 30 minutes in a 450-degree oven. And there we are. So we're going to put these in the oven, 450 degrees, 15 minutes, and then we'll flip. So our squash fries have cooked for 15 minutes. Now we are just going to flip them over. Make sure they're still in a single line and they're not overlapping each other. You can tell the difference between the ones that are cooked, on which side they're cooked. See the difference in color? These are a lighter shade of that orange. Alright, we're going to put these back in the oven another 15 minutes on this side, and then we'll have butternut squash fries. So our butternut squash fries have been in the oven another 15 minutes. Now we're going to pull them off, put them on a paper towel that will soak up the rest of that grease, And then we'll be ready to eat. And there we are.